We will call this October 19th Brown County Commission meeting to order. Commissioner Kepley, would you lead us to the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning.
Morning.
First item, approval of the agenda.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Sutton, second by Weiss to approve the agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have a couple ordinances to go through.
First one, ordinance 203 filed by Tyler Campa to change the zoning from chapter 4.06 Agriculture Preservation District to chapter 4.07 Mini Ag District, Lot 1, Hallam First Subdivision in the southeast quarter of section 12, Township 123 North, Range 62 west of the 5th Pdm, Brown County, South Dakota, 13191 400th Avenue.
Move it.
Second.
Moved by Kepley, second by Fiker, to approve the first reading or rezone ordinance 203. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Ordinance 204 filed by Ryan Rivet from chapter 4.06 Agriculture Preservation District to chapter 4.07 Mini Ag District. Proposed lots 1-17 Rover Horse North First Subdivision in the northeast quarter of section 4, Township 123 North, Range 63 west of the 5th Pdm, Brown County, South Dakota, 3261 North 391st Avenue, approximate.
Move it. Second.
Moved by Fiker, second by Sutton, to approve the first reading of rezone ordinance 204. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Yeah, we're a couple minutes early. Jeanette, you want to just do a couple of those?
Approved general meeting minutes of October 12, 2021.
Second.
Moved by Kepley, second by Sutton, to approve the general meeting minutes of October 12th. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Claims.
Move. Second.
Moved by Sutton, second by Fiker, to approve claims. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Set hearing date and authorize advertising for medical cannabis ordinance.
Move. Second.
Moved by Sutton, second by Weiss, to set the hearing date, authorize and advertise for medical cannabis ordinance. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Last one is the HR report.
Move it.
Second.
Moved by Kepley, second by Weiss, to approve the HR report. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, next we have the Aberdeen Hockey Fair concession contract. And do you have anybody here to speak of that, or?
Well, I think the concern was that, I think the contract says that, is it September, or as soon as the fair is over, then the hockey beer gardens is supposed to pay or come up with the...
Check by September 30th, it says.
Yeah, and I think that was one of the concerns that some of the fair board members and the fair had too, is, seems like every year, that's been a kind of an ongoing thing. It's not just this year, it's been an ongoing thing that they haven't been very prompt with getting that check in or getting that payment in, getting that calculation of what's owed, and would like to have it a little more prompt.
Is there any chance that maybe it's the vendors that don't get their information to them so they can do the figuring? I mean, the way things are nowadays, it seems like everybody's 2 weeks behind. I'm just wondering if, you know, is that part of it, or is that just an ongoing thing? I mean,
I do have all of it now. It just got to me on Friday, and then the check was actually wrong, so I had to bring him in yesterday again to kind of go through that. But he had everything on September 30th. Like, it seems like they tried to send it and then it got sent back to them, but I do have it now. It just came like Friday.
Well, you did get it?
Yeah.
Okay.
After the meeting I did.
Okay.
And did you get all the receipts and everything that we're supposed to get
Yeah.
for your pop?
And I have those. I don't have a copy for everybody, but I do have those if you want them.
I know another concern of the fair board that they mentioned last week at the meeting was, you know, according to the contract, literally the day after the fair, the Hockey Association has the right to come in and start their operations, where And that's what aggravated some of the Fair Board members is, we didn't get our check in a timely manner, but yet they demand that we get out of there the very next day so they can get in there and get busy, and they just thought that was kind of unfair, so.
Basically, I think even lock it up, don't they?
So that's on the OD portion.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think this just is for the clubhouse? Yep.
Yeah. But it's
So-
a contract with hockey, so.
So is there anything in the contract, I don't remember reading through it, that says if there's any time frame after the fair in the Odie building?
I believe it used to say, the end, or like the beginning of September, so we had it just a month of August. But when I talked to Kurt the other day, he made it sound like he had changed, or it had changed to just 2 days after the fair. So I don't know what it reads now, because I didn't see a copy of that, but I think it did get changed, but we're supposed to have it the whole month of August, is what I thought.
So that's maybe something that could be worked on too, or negotiated on, or whatever.
Well, I don't wanna speak for them, but I believe, it's gotten to the point where, from hockey's perspective, when the fair is over, there used to be a period where, you wanted to make sure that it was cleaned up, and there was a lot of work to be done with that, and from hockey's perspective, it's just like, if, all the fair stuff is out of there, don't worry about cleaning it up, we'll take care of it, because we wanna get the ice up as quick as they can. So I'm not trying to speak on their behalf, but I think that they're usually in a big hurry to get it going.
The doors, the locks on the doors were changed before Monday after the fair.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't able to get in to the concession stand to even take our stuff out.
Yeah, there needs to be some better communication with that. Hopefully that shouldn't be that big a problem.
And I think you guys were out mostly Sunday, but I think the contract at least gives you Monday, premium sale Monday, to continue to get stuff out if you needed to, but.
And they were just right there, like, I still had egg education stuff in there, and they're like, you need to get this out right now. Like, we have our guys here to, like, start, like, getting the ice up. So he's like, just get it out, and we'll take care of everything else. So they're right there watching you, like, take everything out.
Yeah, we'll have to look at that in the contract.
When is that contract up?
Well, this one is this year, but I think ice one is next year, right?
I think so, 22, because I think it didn't get pushed ahead a year, or what am I
one-
thinking?
The clubhouse one did.
Yeah, that's right.
Because it was supposed to be, last year should have been the third year of the 3-year contract, but we pushed it back because of the fair postponement.
Right.
So what did we, do we know, so you got the wrong amount in the check, do we know what the right check's going to be for?
Yeah, so, it was made out for like over 8,000, but they forgot to take out like the band and tent credit, so it's actually 3,786. It's actually the worst year that they've had, ever. So.
Which is unfortunate, because in looking at the numbers that the fair passed out last week, their numbers were
Mhm.
kind of off the charts,
Yeah.
good,
And I haven't heard from Centennial Village yet. I think that one doesn't have to get until December, I think, is the last contract. But he's like, even they, like, way overdid, like, from
Right.
previous years. So he's like, I don't know what it was, but, yeah.
They had a better year, you say?
Centennial
Yeah.
is the rumor going around. I haven't seen any numbers for that, but that's what they're saying.
And the Boys and Girls Club numbers looked
Oh,
good
yeah,
too.
that
I
was-
mean, that was up considerably.
Yeah.
so.
So for whatever reason, that's become the fashionable thing to do, because when the concerts are over, everybody goes down to Centennial Village.
Yep.
I think we need to, along with these lines, start looking, we had a process to advertise this again, and since it's up, we need to continue with that process we put in place. And I know we have to start doing that this fall, and I don't remember, I don't have it on my computer, but maybe at the office or somewhere, what that time frame should look like. We're gonna advertise it, we're gonna take bids, we're gonna open them, because if I remember right, before years ago with COVID last year, but the 3-year contract when we first did it, they would come in with their proposal and say, this is what we're willing to give you per keg per, and then we take the best. And then it also listed what we would have in consideration, volunteer base, experience, price. It's not just what we're getting, but does anybody know where that document is, or have you seen something like that?
I can look when I get back
Okay.
to the office.
Because we should probably get rolling on that to know which dates we should advertise and close it by, because those folks like to know by the end of the year, so they can make arrangements with the distributors. And then next year, grandstands will be up again, right? Because we alternated the years.
I believe we did, yes.
Sounds like a plan.
And maybe you could touch base with, I think along with that document was Centennial Village and in their contract, what the date was when we should get that information, because that'll complete your analysis of everything that was made for this fair, and then we can let, you know, folks that are interested in knowing how the fair went, money-wise, once we get those Centennial Village numbers in there, what the county made and didn't make.
Anything else?
Okay.
Thanks, you guys.
So we'll look at the process and advertise, do the process of advertising like we talked about, and then make a decision whenever that deadline is.
The Centennial Village contract, they turn it in by December 15th of each year to the auditor's office. So if you're looking for preliminary numbers from the fair to be reported before December 15th, I don't know if you want to wait for that or not.
I can't remember why we waited that long. I think we wanted just an overview of how things were going at Centennial Village, is why we threw the December in there, but really, I don't know why there's a reason we would wait that long for the receipts and the...
They should be able to get us numbers the same time as boys and girls in hockey, I would think. You know, once they, you know, go through their invoices and dust settles for the fill paying.
So, yeah, maybe we can encourage them to come in early if they have it available.
They told me to
Okay.
change it for next time.
Thank you. Anything else you have? Okay, we're good. We're a little early, but I think we could probably go with Scott. We're about a minute early. Scott Mites, Scott, are you around?
Yep.
Morning, Scott.
Morning.
Morning.
Short and sweet today. Just a quick update on the Pdm plan and figure out if you got any questions or anything. Everybody should have got a copy of the draft plan last week, email from NECOG. I don't know if you had a chance to page through the lovely reading that bore you to death, but we had our final meeting yesterday, or our semi-final meeting with our planning group, and made a few changes to that draft. The girls will get it updated, and we're hoping to submit by November 1st for the first approval process. So take about 3 to 6 weeks, depending on how busy FEMA is and all that stuff, and I should have something here after the first of the year to bring to the table to get on the books. And our old plan expires, I believe, February sometime, so we should be more than okay to make that happen, or have a new plan before we expire, so.
No, not that I read them all, but was there any major changes as far as?
No, there was a few, you know, obviously we updated the numbers and stuff like that for disasters, and there was a few projects added here and there. Nothing, you know, surprising or anything. I know City of Groton added a few other ones, and a couple of small towns, so took a couple off that were completed from years back and things like that. So, like I said, just a quick update. If you got any questions, if you read through it or got anything in the next couple of days, let me know. We still got a few days to make some updates. So, if there's no concerns, I'll get out of your hair.
Thanks, Scott.
I have a
Absolutely.
question
Yeah.
unrelated. Somebody asked me this weekend, and I did not know the answer. They had thought that Northern Electric or East River has a fat truck already in Bath or Groton. Is that right?
No,
Okay.
not that I'm aware of. The closest one that I know of is Rapid City.
Nothing, okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
so, yep, no problem.
Thank you, Scott.
Scott. Thanks, ladies.
Yep.
And you're next, Scott.
Step on up. Scott with planning and zoning. Got it.
Good morning. You guys had did the acknowledgement of the cannabis ordinance. Does Kathy give you a copy of that from the planning commission?
We got it on email.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys have all that information, and on the very first page of that staff report, on that, it has, I kind of recaptured the jurisdictional area, because it's not just the unincorporated areas of Brown County, it also includes Stratford, Claremont, and Columbia, and then unincorporated towns such as Bath and Houghton, Barnard, Fernie, Prairie Wood Village we take care of, Elm Lake area and Richmond Lake area, and then a little bit at Minot Lake. And then on that ordinance, for our application for conditional use, we have to come up with a fee that we're gonna charge. So we have $500 for the application process, and that's just for the zoning conditional use. That's not licensing or anything. When we take a typical conditional use request, it's $200 application, and then feedlots is $300. And you know, we have to do extensive background checks and so forth as part of the cannabis application and stuff, so that's the reason that it's higher than, say, like the feedlot. So that 500 would have to be approved as a dollar amount from the commission when we start doing the applications and the process. Our permit fees are typically approved in January, and the application fees. So I took I went through our fee schedule and our application fee schedule, and I had to make some adjustments to that. So I don't know if the commission wants to, look at that and approve that as a resolution currently, or do it on the 1st of January or first week of January when you guys typically do it, but the $500 application fee will have to be done now or early part, and then these other fee schedules, I'm gonna round it up where the 0 to 10,000 is $30 rather than 0 to 8,350 at $25. We're gonna just use the $10,000 mark. It's too confusing with such an odd number on our permit fees. And then the application fees are gonna go up $25 based on increases on publishing requirements and stuff like that. That went up on us when it moved to Sioux Falls.
You said something that used to be, what, $7 for, no, what was your publishing?
Used to be on an average of like 19 to 21, and then it went to like 35 to $43 in that range.
So nearly doubled?
Yeah.
So do we want to pass just the fee for the cannabis, or do we want to approve all the fees changes?
Since we're currently incurring the additional cost, I think we should, I think we should
I
approve
agree.
the increases now rather than wait another
Okay.
3 months.
That'd be my recommendation.
Okay.
Because we are looking at that increase right now as of probably a month or so.
It's only 2 months and change out.
Yeah.
So I would entertain a motion to adjust the cannabis fee to $500 and raise the other fees to a $25 increase in each of them.
And do them separate, the
Pretty
application and the
much.
permit.
There is
Yeah, they're both gonna be a resolution, so let's just do the application resolution right now, and then we'll take action on the...
And then the fee
The fee
schedule.
schedule on that.
All right, I'll move the application fee schedule.
Second.
Got a motion by Lee, second by Piker to approve the application. Nothing? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
likewise, I'll move the permit fee schedule as well.
Second.
Got a motion by Weed, second by Sutton, to approve the permit fee schedule. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
That'd be great.
Thank you for putting all that together.
And then I'm also, taking all of our, updates and stuff that we had in the last, few months and year, throughout my ordinance sections with, the definitions and feedlots and different districts. A lot of definitions. The floodplain will be updated when we update a new map, probably in another year or so. So I'm gonna leave that portion the way it is for now. And I put together the whole Title IV zoning with all the changes and then verify that with Kathy. And then we'll update the ordinance on the website. Because we've had several different small portions here and there, and I had them all approved, but they're not all updated in the actual ordinance online yet. And then, of course, we had the set back a little bit. I'm still waiting to get some of that information recouped. Same with contacts. I don't have any of my contacts in townships and stuff like that. I gotta get all that retyped in, or else if someone has that, I don't know.
We have all the townships in a spreadsheet with the figures.
In the Outlook?
No, just in a spreadsheet.
Oh.
We don't have them in Outlook, I guess.
Okay. So that's pretty much for me, is the cannabis and then the fee schedules, and go forward with that. So with the application schedule approved, then that application for the cannabis for the zoning board, that's done. We don't have to worry about that part.
Good.
The actual fee for licensing will be set by the commission for the license from the commission and auditor.
We should probably talk about that.
Yeah, and ours is just the application, and then the zoning review, the zoning approval or denial, and then we would also have a permit, and that would be for a new building, remodeling an existing building, something of that nature. So we'd have a couple things that it goes through zoning, and then the state would have the license registration, and then the commission would have the licensing for the county. So that would be all I have.
Do you wanna walk us through the ordinance and which pieces, kinda some of the highlights, Scott, of what was talked about, just so the commission knows what was recommended? The number of dispensaries, some of that.
Okay. I ran it through as I got a draft one from the state's recommendations for the cannabis dispensary, and then I also did a portion that I called draft 2, and that was included, I put in there cannabis establishments, so that we have the dispensary with the requirements, and then the other 3 with the test center, the cultivation, and the manufacturing, which we all assume will be approved shortly. So I put it into this draft 2. Draft 1 had four different definitions, and draft 2 has about 40. And most of it has to do with the 3 establishment portions.
Normally, we like to go with the simpler of the versions, but with everything changing and more stuff coming down the pipeline, we thought, well, if we just adopt a lot of the state's verbiage, we might need it down the road, and this would save us some headaches later, is what the mindset was.
Yeah, 'cause it just seemed like it was so far behind on getting the information of how they wanted it, and it was tough to put that together. Here, we're gonna be kind of, ahead of the game with the definitions and everything already in our ordinance, which I appreciate that too. So I went and highlighted just different areas, but, the processing, license fees, which is set by the commission, they have in their, cannabis establishment licenses are good for 1 year. And then the commission would review their license, similar to liquor license. You can change that to any time frame that you want. Planning commission, we put 1 year. Be similar to the alcohol licenses.
If we end up having more than one license, it'd be nice if the renewals all coincide at the same time. So it's not literally 1 year from the date of application. Every January, every July, we set a point that we can renew all of them, especially if we're looking down the road towards like recreational, if we do have more than one license, that'd be preferred.
And you can prorate, you know, if someone starts up in October, I mean, you could prorate it to...
Even right now with the
Whatever.
alcohol, you pay the full fee, even if it's for 2 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then for the
Well,
whole fee.
Right,
Yeah.
yep. And what they're doing too is, they gave an example, if, you set a license fee of $5,000, and then after that first year, you can have a renewal of $2,500 or $5,000. You know, I mean, there's a lot of,
Whatever number you want.
suggestions or whatever. If they have any violations and stuff, it's recommended to start over, reapply, because you have to go back through, and verify everything and check everything. And that'll be one of the parts that you look at. If you're gonna do the renewal on an annual basis, but, we recommend one, dispensary, for these unincorporated areas.
We did have one gentleman that showed up that expressed, an interest in more than one, but I think he had originally didn't realize that all the municipalities would have their numbers too, and his point just being capitalism, competition is better, so he wanted us to have more than one within the county, but, and I think the zoning board is open to whatever the commission wants to set that at, but their official recommendation, they put at 1.
And it can be changed if there's an overwhelming, request, but the incorporated municipalities can, like Frederick and Hecla and Aberdeen, Groton, Westport, Warner, they can, have 5 or 10, whatever their city council recommends. You know, that's their jurisdiction. So, you know, Aberdeen, I think, is 5. I've heard 5 and I've heard 6. In their writing, I seen 1 per 5,000 population. You know, so in that case, if they've got 5 or 6, and then the county's jurisdictional areas, we have 1. Even if the other cities had 1, I mean, like the whole state of Iowa is like 3 or something like that. Or 3 or 5 total, so, Brown County's got more to offer, or I mean, South Dakota has more to offer than what Iowa was. You know, depending on what they wanna do. One thing to note too, you know, recommend the 1,000-foot setback from, schools, private or public, and then, from other items such as daycare facilities, public parks and recreational areas, churches, libraries, we're recommending 500 feet rather than 1,000 from them. And that dimension may be waived, if they wanted to sign off, you know, on a waiver, because there are some churches in the country that are vacant and not being used, but they're still a church on a property, so, you know, if their council wants to waive it less than 500 feet, there's a possibility on that. And then it's measured from the property lines, So, that's, I think that was about it on that.
They're not more restrictive than what the state requires.
Cannabis license than it is a case.
That was one of the things to be cautious about, is trying to get more restrictive than the state. You open yourself up for some issues, potentially.
And then the time of day, we chose 8 AM to 10 PM, Monday through Saturday, as a recommendation to the commission. And I think the city of Aberdeen is 7 AM.
The only question that arose that we didn't have an answer to last week, and I don't know if you guys have heard anymore, is that egg. Are people putting it in egg, like for your,
I put it in draft 2.
okay, that was added, so now
I added it,
it can
yep.
be in an egg parcel, okay. There was a question, why not mini egg? Well, the state hands down that you can't have a residence and the business in the same parcel, so normally a mini egg, that's,
Eliminates mini egg.
yeah. I think you guys did a nice job.
And I added that egg parcel to the draft 2, second revision. And that was, a stipulation, approval with the stipulation to research that egg portion to see if, you know, the state wanted it omitted, but I couldn't find anything that, they didn't want it in an egg portion.
There'll be more to follow.
Yeah.
Need a motion to approve the ordinance, is that what we need?
No, all we did is set the
Just
hearing
set
date
it?
and, approve the
Okay,
application.
so we'll take it up in those
So there'll be a
dates.
first reading and a second reading coming in a few weeks.
Coming
Where this
up.
will
Do
be
you,
done.
do we need to do anything with the license fee now, or is that later too?
We took action on the zoning side of it, but the license fee will be a part of this ordinance.
So wait till we have the.
So when we adopt our
Okay.
second reading, then we'll be approving the license fee and anything else within this ordinance at that time.
So we don't need to set, hearing dates or anything like that?
We've done that.
We just
Oh,
did.
that's not,
We just have to establish the fee.
Yeah, I acknowledged.
Yeah.
Jeanette read that.
Something you need to add to that to clarify the renewal dates or something like that. So they go on an annual rather than staggered.
Yeah, we can look at that and have something ready by first reading.
Yeah.
Yes, Ross.
One other thing, the way it's split up to where dispensaries and then other establishments, to explain that a little bit, is planning and zoning basically cap the number of dispensaries at 1, and that's just strictly your point of sale. So your cultivation, your testing, your processing facilities, they ultimately decide to leave that blank. So the commission can set a cap on the number of those types of licenses if they want, but the thinking was is that the concern from the public is gonna be not wanting to see one of these on every corner, whereas you don't really have that with the cultivation, the testing, and the processing facilities. So that's one thing to think about as well. That's why it's split into 2 parts.
Sure.
Yeah, and on them, you can actually establish a separate licensing fee on them items too, you know, other than the initial one for dispensaries. You can make them all the same or have them different, but the number of, I forgot that part, Ross, thank you. We have that as a blank. We didn't really, have a number that we wanted to put in there, I guess.
So right now it's unlimited.
It was just kinda suggested that, the people putting the applications is what kind of, show what kind of interest there is, you know.
Well, the testing and manufacturing will determine how many dispensaries we have. If we only have 1 dispensary, probably not gonna be a large demand for the other part, but if we have 8 all of a sudden in every little town in Aberdeen and the county, then it might change how that would look. So I guess all you can do at this point is see how it's gonna roll.
Yeah. Yeah, because we don't have any, or all of that information, you know, set in stone, what other cities are gonna do, but not at this time.
Anything else for Scott? Thank you, Scott.
You're welcome. There's my cane. Got a herniated disc, but pinching something.
We're gonna have an exec for personnel from Erica, but is there anything else to come before the commission
Thank you.
before we go into exec?
Thank you.
Thanks, Scott.
Anything else for discussion?
Move exec for personnel.
Second.
Moved by Sutton, second by Weiss to go into exec personnel. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are in exec. We are out of exec after a long discussion, no action taken. Anything else coming before the commission?
Move to adjourn.
Moved by Sutton, second by Weiss to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?